everybody, this is Miss Heather from the Hagerstown Library, and it is time for STEAM time! Woo! And today, for our project this week, we are going to be doing the Erupting Apple Science Experiment. These will be out on the cart come Tuesday. It's the white cart here in the library. It is across from the desk, and it has these. This will have this experiment. It'll have our previous experiments, the following shelves under that one, and then also we have some bonus experiments as well that will take a few times to do it and some patience. So come on in and let's get these projects done and get you all about STEAM projects. Okay, so today we have an apple, a decent sized apple. This is a Honeycrisp. You will need an apple, pure baking soda, or just baking soda is fine, some soap to add some bubbles, some distilled white vinegar, and it calls for it. You don't have to do it, but you can add some funky colors to it. I'm going to add green because this is very Halloween and fallish, so it reminds me of a poisoned apple. A knife for parents or older children to use supervised. And then I have some various measuring things, so we can do a little bit of measuring as well. Okay, so let's get going with this. So, here's some apple science. This erupting apple science activity is an awesome example of a chemical reaction. And this is part of our STEAM part of science. So, it used baking soda and vinegar for the classic eruption like a volcano, right? And then you can also try lemon juice and baking soda. I did not have the lemon juice, but if you have it at home, give it a shot, give it another try. It'll be fun, and compare results. So chemistry is all about the way different materials put together and how they include atoms and molecules and how they react. It's also these materials that act under different conditions as well. Chemistry is often the base of physics, so you will see some overlap, okay? So this is how we set up the apple volcano. So we've got a handy dandy dish, which I forgot to mention. Please put your apples on something that you can contain it in a mess because it is just like a volcano erupting, okay? So an adult should use a knife to cut the hole in the vessel in the top of the apple. So I'm going to use my paring knife, okay? If you're little bitty, have your parents do it. So I'm going to cut, and you go about halfway down, okay? That looks good too. And we'll see if we can get it to cooperate and come out for us. Let's see, I may have to cut a couple other places. So be patient. There's a chunk, which Honeycrisp are the best. Okay, let's see if it'll come out. We're almost there. It takes a little work and a little gumption. So don't get frustrated if you don't get it on the first try. And that's okay. Look at all that juice. We might be getting somewhere now. Remember, you're kind of cutting through the core as well, so it's a little bit harder in the center. But that little bonus apple was a good piece of snack. All right, let's see what we got. Good thing is, let's see here. Whoop! That's okay. Science is messy sometimes. That happens. So, I'm gonna take some of this out. And I warned that maybe you should do this part in a container, but that's okay. If you have a parent that's cool or guardian that's cool with this way, that's okay as well. So, we've got your apple hollowed out in the center, right? So, okay, so we're about halfway down with a chunk out, which is fine by me, because that was a good snack. So we're gonna do a couple spoonfuls of baking soda into the hole. So, let's get it. I'm just going to use a tablespoon since it's the same thing as what you have in your kitchen drawers. So let's do a couple of those. You don't have to necessarily be fancy and measure. A couple of those down in there. Okay, there's one. I'm going to kind of tap it in there. So, 1, and we'll add this, okay? So there's our baking soda, all right? And this, you don't have to do this, but it's a fun option. Add a drop or 2 of dish soap if you want a foamier and bubblier eruption. So we're gonna add a little dish soap, 1 drop, and some bonus, okay? Next, this chemical reaction. So with adding the soap in it, the chemical eruption will produce more bubbles and add the soap to have more runoff. So it'll have more of a and flow over. Okay? So next, add a few drops of food coloring. I picked the green because it is getting to be spooky season and it reminds me of the poison apple in Snow White. So I'm going to drop here, here, one of that, and a little bit here. Okay? So now we gotta mix, let's see. So add a few drops of food coloring if you want, mix it up and pair with different colors with different apples. So I'm just gonna take my little bitty, I have a tiny, teeny, tiny mixing spoon, okay? So this is like a 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm gonna mix this up real quick and see how he does it, okay? And I'm gonna add just a little bit more color because I want it to be very vibrant and very, okay, I'm gonna add a couple more. Because the baking soda soaks this in a lot. So, let's get going. So we're gonna pour our vinegar, okay? We got our vinegar. And if you're little bitty and you need help, ask a parent's help for this. There's no shame in having help. So, let's see, let me go. I'm gonna put it in a 1/4 cup for easier handling, and mine's got a spout. If yours doesn't have a spout, that's okay. You can just grab a regular drinking cup. So I'm gonna pour some vinegar in the cup. If you need help, ask for help. That's okay. So how does this work? Let's go and see. So let's do the visual of how it works. And there we have it. Do we want to put the rest in? Yeah. And that is our erupting apple. So that's what it does. That is an erupting apple. It's like a volcano, but in apple form. I'm going to add a little bit more vinegar and get a little bit more reaction out of it. There we go. Now that's what I call a chemical reaction. All right, and I'm just going to put this right here because I don't want it to get anywhere else. So how does this work? Chemistry is all about states of matter, including liquids, solids, and gases. A chemical reaction occurs between 2 or more substances that change and form into a new substance, right? And in this case, a gas called carbon dioxide. In this experiment, you have an acid, which is liquid vinegar, and the base is a solid, which is your baking soda. When you combine them, it makes a gas called carbon dioxide. Then, which produces an eruption that we saw. So I'm going to do a little bit more vinegar so we can get more of a reaction. So let's see if we get a little bit more out of it. Ready? Let's go. There we go. So there's a reaction and how that works. When you combine the two, you create carbon dioxide and have a chemical reaction. So the carbon dioxide escapes the mixture in the form of bubbles. So we see these bubbles here. There's a lot of bubbles still in here reacting. So that means your chemical reaction is still going and processing. Okay? So you can even hear them if you listen closely. So I'm going to have the camera get zoomed in closely and see if you can hear some of that. I'm going to take some of this real faint popping sound. Okay? So the bubbles are heavier than air. So the carbon dioxide collects the surface of the apple and overflows, like so, the apple because of small vessels we've given it. So the vessel is the hole we cut in the center of our apple. That's where our chemical reaction happened. Okay? In this baking soda apple volcano, the dish soap is added to collect the gas and form bubbles that give it a more robust lava volcano. So it gives you more bubbles and give you that more foam reaction. That was really cool. Okay, so that equals more fun, right? So you don't have to just add dish soap, but it's worth a try. You get all the big bubbly and foam that you would see out of a volcano eruption. And it gives you that spooky, creepy, poisoned apple reaction you want to for that time of year. So you could set this experiment up to see which eruption you like more. And also the other thing you could have added was lemon juice, but it was optional. You didn't have to do it, and that's okay. So try making a volcano with a different amount of fruits. So you could use a pear, a peach, even a strawberry if you have a big enough strawberry. So, can you make a volcano that erupts out of a Lego structure? How about a Pringles can? Have fun experimenting. So, we will have this set out, like I said, on the steam cart, and we will have bonus experiments as well. Miss Julie does a great job of putting everything together and giving me the option to be able to film this for you guys, because I know you really like it, and it's really fun for me to do as well, and I know it's fun for you guys. We will be putting this on Facebook for virtual stuff, and this will also be on YouTube. And if you haven't seen our other past experiments from the last few weeks, they will also be there. So I hope you had fun and enjoy the experiment, and I hope you come in and come get these packets, because these are really fun to do. So thank you for watching Steve with Miss Heather. Bye.